So run, don't crawl. It's the Smoke World Podcast. It's time to think, so go ahead and get yourself a smooth drink. It's the Smoke World Podcast.
What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Smoke World. Today my guest is one of my good brothers, a mentor, a man who does things the proper way. Leemack 912 is in the building. Leemack, welcome to the show, my brother. Thank you for joining me, man.
Hey, good. Glad to be here, brother Stone. I'm glad to be here for y'all too.
Absolutely.
So, and listen, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna have to figure it out.
That's gonna make two of us, sir.
All right,
sir. First of all, I'm gonna say thank you because what you've been doing for the culture, man. You've been doing this for over a decade now. You've been sitting down in front of your camera, talking to us, explaining to us about these things they call cigars. And some are good, some not so much. Like I said, we know some people, we ain't gonna name them names, that call cigars trash.
Well,
we ain't naming names, which I think is taboo. I don't think you should do that.
Had that big conversation this morning, as a matter of fact.
Let's talk about that.
All right.
Tell me, okay, what's the conversation?
Oh, listen, the conversation was you shouldn't call any cigar trash because your trash might be my treasure and vice versa. And since you're supposed to be a cigar aficionado, they said you shouldn't be saying that.
Now, why do you think that is? Things that make you go,
Well, I don't know. I'm going to let you go head on. We're going to keep on opening up.
Hey, we ain't scared.
Hey.
We ain't scared.
And listen, it's all about the money. You got to follow the money. So if I can get you to think that something that is low quality is going to be top notch and that's just good enough for you, that's what you'll accept. You'll leave all my top shelf stuff alone.
Say that again, bro. That was prophylactic.
Hey,
Say it again.
Listen,
Say it again.
If I can get you to understand or believe that
Yes.
low quality, bottom shelf is all that you need, then you're going to leave the top shelf stuff alone.
Method to the madness.
Method to the madness. It's the reason why they put those gates on the gated neighborhoods, right?
Talk to us. Educate us today,
Hey,
brother.
come on now.
Educate us
You get
today.
too deep too soon, brother.
Come on now.
Too soon now.
It's okay. It ain't Sunday, but it's okay. Talk to us.
Listen, you got to keep some people out. And some people don't want you to be in. So, it is what it is.
Okay, you're preaching today. You're preaching, brother. So I want to get a little background because we see you on the show. I don't know if we really know. Well, I know because I know. But introducing the audience to who you are, where you from, how you got started with this whole thing. Folks don't really know that. I talk to folks. They like, yo, man, you know this guy named Leemack? I'm like,
Nah.
Yeah, I know
never heard
Leemack.
of
You know he right here. What? So you have a fan base. Awesome. But we want to talk about just a little bit. Where you from, man? Where'd you grow up at?
Oh, Elizabeth, New Jersey, all day. Yes, sir. Don't say it like that.
I know, right? All right,
say
my bad. I'm sorry.
Hey, you say New Jersey.
Elizabeth.
Down this part, people say New Jersey. Nobody goes to New Jersey. I'm from Elizabeth, New Jersey. My mama's still living in the same house that I grew up in. And my grandma's house was around the corner. My aunties, it was all within 2 or 3 blocks. You could walk and, be around family. So
Elizabeth, New Jersey. Okay. We ain't going to hold that against you.
Hey,
How far is that from, like, Newark or something?
right across the way, next town over. My dad was from Newark.
No, okay, it's a big thing. You know what's funny? Because now, BD in Delaware, they say you say it different.
Yeah, Newark.
Newark. How it was spelled the same? Talk to me.
Yeah.
That's a
Listen,
little confusing.
you can tell where somebody is from because if they say Newark, hey, listen, you ain't from up top.
So it's Newark,
Newark.
New Jersey,
That's it.
and Newark, Delaware.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, so you grew up there. Now, where'd you migrate to from there?
So migrating, it's been a steady move south from the whole time. I went to school in New Brunswick and eventually bought a house in Piscataway, and then moved down to Cherry Hill. Moved to Philadelphia for a little while.
Oh, yeah, my city.
Hey,
what was you at Philly, baby?
Germantown, Morris Street, baby.
Damn.
Yeah, right side the expressway. That's when I learned why they call it Philadelphia. But I'm just saying. I'm
wait
just
a minute
saying.
now. Come on, bro. No low shots like that,
Hey,
bro.
bro. Hey,
It's next to the expressway, so you had a lot of carbon
No, bro.
monoxide and
No,
fumes.
that wasn't it, brother. Hey, listen. when somebody pull up and they take the whole bag of the McDonald's, the cup and everything, they open their window and just drop it out. Pow! They don't even try to throw it in the weeds, just drop it in the middle of the street. I was like, okay, this is what we doing here. Huh?
Come on, man. That's lies.
But no, that's facts, brother. Facts. Seen it all day, all night, man.
He's telling y'all lies. Don't believe that. Philly is beautiful. The city of brotherly love.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, proceed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
love,
About
man.
this McDonald's.
Okay.
Just McDonald's ruckus, brother. Okay, so you did a little Philly.
No Philly, then went back to Cherry Hill, was planning to stay there. I never planned to leave Jersey. And then I was working for the Army. Army said, we're going to close the base. I said, all right. So I was like, I'll stay here and collect unemployment. And then I decided that wasn't a good move. They had a job for me in Maryland. So here I ended up in Elkton, Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Cecil County. Good God.
Now, this journey of cigars.
Yes, sir.
Where did it start? How did it start?
Oh, that started in Philly.
Oh, with the McDonald's bags.
With the McDonald's bag.
Was a cigar in the McDonald's bag? You're like, yo, I'm clean. Yo, what is this right here?
And listen, so I was in the Navy, right? So I used to be in the Navy. We would go overseas and we could get Cuban cigars. I didn't know nothing about cigars, but I knew that, hey, we can't get Cuban cigars. So I'm in the Navy. I can get Cuban cigars. And, hey, listen, things got transferred. So I was like, but when I got back home, I was like, I don't know nothing about these cigars. I don't know nothing about how to store it, cut it, light it, smoke it. I knew nothing. So I was trying to figure out how to do some things with it. But that was the first start, because the very first cigar I ever got was Cuba Cuba by Acid.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Famous Smoke had an ad in the paper. It said, you cut out this ad, mail it to us with your name and your address, and we'll send you a free cigar. And it was Cuba Cuba. So between the Cuba Cuba and the Cubans, it was like, okay, well, now I want more. Let me try and find out and learn some more. So I started watching, other people on YouTube. And, we had Cigar Obsession, my boy Puro Maduro. He was one of the OG daddies in the game, the Cigar Vixen. So I'm watching them. I'm looking for ideas, right? So I'm watching some of them, and I'm like, I don't never see them tell me if it's good or it's bad or everything is good. I'm like, because now I done smoked a couple of these cigars and it's not good to me. So I was like, at that point, I was working in AV, and I was like, they had this new thing out there called YouTube. I had taken the class. I was like, I could do a little film editing. Let me see if I could put together a video and upload it from my garage. And
Sure enough.
that rest was history, brother. 10 years, 11 years later now. It's been 11 years.
Yeah, brother. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. Right back.
Baby, so run, don't crawl. It's the Smoke World Podcast. It's time to think, so go ahead and get yourself a smooth drink. It's the
All right, folks, welcome back. I'm here with my guest, Leemack 912, and we're discussing his journey of this thing called the cigars, brother. So you stopped at where you were talking about how you was enjoying cigars, or maybe some of them you didn't, and you're saying, but nobody's talking about this.
Right.
How can I like step into that lane?
Right. So there it was. It was like, well, now there got to be some people like me that's smoking a cigar like me that's saying this cigar is not good.
Be careful now.
Not good. We didn't use that word.
We're in the church.
Yeah, we didn't use that word now. So I decided, hey, listen, I'm just going to give my honest opinion about the cigar, good, bad, whatever is the difference. And, that was just kind of how it was. And so what happened was people started watching. I was surprised, right? Because you know how when you first started a YouTube channel, I was like telling my mama and
hey, yo, look at this.
The neighbors. No, I was like, look, just go subscribe. I don't need you to watch.
Oh,
I just
okay.
want you to subscribe to the
Smart
channel.
man.
So, so everybody was subscribing. I got to 100 subscribers. I was like, yeah, man, I'm doing it big now. I got 100 subscribers. So it kind of really just grew from there. And I was surprised that, they call me the old dude, right, sometimes. I wasn't as old then. I was 10 years younger. They were still calling me OG. I was like, come on, man, I'm not that old.
Nonsense out, man.
But I started telling stories in the middle of the cigar. Because, I mean, how much you going to really talk about when you say a cigar? It's cigars, brown, it tastes like this. How many things can it really taste like? So I just started telling stories. And I'm telling stories about my life. Whatever came across whatever, I said, I tell stories. I said, I can cut it out later when I do the editing.
Right.
So what I found out was people like the stories. It was like, oh, maybe it like helps us to, relate to you.
Yes.
So, so it kind of went into this long form thing. It kind of went longer and longer. So about 25 minutes is the review. It doesn't take 25 minutes to review a cigar, but Leemack 912 cigar review is 25 minutes. I did an experiment once where I said, hey, listen, let me just cut it out. All I'm going to do is just cut out everything and just do the short version. All we're going to talk about is the cigar. And then I'll do the long version and, we'll leave the stories in. So people was watching the short version. They said, nah, that's not good because
We need the story.
I need the story because I'm smoking with you and I still got cigar left. So
I like that. I love the concept. So today, I brought some props, brother.
Some props.
Because, yes, I'm going to call them props.
Okay.
So I brought 2 cigars because a lot of times we hear cigar review. And we say, exactly what is that? And I would love for you to go through your process on some of the things, the techniques. What do you look at as far as the cigar makeup, cut, light? Kind of walk us through. So we're actually going to do a Leemack 9112 cigar review right here with me, if you don't mind.
All right, we don't mind. We don't mind.
All right.
Now, see, the thing is, when you've been around for a while, right, you say, well, you got a cigar, don't have a band on it, but, some people look at it and go, oh, I know what this is right away. So,
Hey, that part. That part.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we look at the cigar, so
Right.
tell me, let's walk me through your steps as far as when you grab a cigar, what are you looking at?
So one of the things I learned was don't grab the first cigar in the box.
Okay.
'Cause meaning that I used to just reach in and grab one and pick it up.
Okay.
And bring it with me. Let me see yours for a second.
Yes, sir.
So what I like to do is say, hey, listen, let me just, and again, I'm not touching where you're gonna stick in your mouth or whatever, but
be
I
careful.
want to see how
No diddy. Be careful.
diddy. I want to see how it feels, right? And you can see how it feels. Is it soft? Is it hard? Does it have any soft spots down in the middle? And I'm not talking about you just mashing it real crazy or whatever, but you can feel a cigar that's like underfilled or whatever. These both feel pretty good. So that's it. So I got that one. I picked it up out the box, and then I'm gonna smell it.
Okay.
Smell the wrapper. This one's got a closed foot. Closed foot is like you don't have any. It's not open, whatever. But if it was open, I would smell it. And one thing I learned was that we smell differently on the left side of our nose than we do on the right side of our
Interesting.
nose. So,
I didn't know that.
so if you smell one side versus the other side, you might smell 2 different things. Or pick
Now,
up
are you
something
looking for anything
additional.
in particular where you
No.
want the aroma? Just
No.
Kind of got
Just trying to see what it is.
tobacco,
So like
natural.
this one, I get like tobacco, leaves. It's kind of a little bit musty.
Now, out of curiosity,
Yeah.
by doing that, are there any hints to what you think the cigar how it may smoke?
No. the smell that you get off the wrapper is not necessarily going to give you what you taste as soon as you light it up.
Gotcha.
So there are some people that say like they'll talk about the cold draw. We'll talk about that in a second. It's closed foot, so it doesn't mean anything. Some people say it's a waste of time.
Okay.
But this is your cigar, right? And you are supposed to be smoking your cigar the way that you want to smoke it. Right?
I need to say that again, sir.
Yeah.
Just one more time.
Your cigar, you smoke it the way that you want to smoke it. So if you like to smell it and do all these other things, fine. If you just want to bite the tip off and light it with a match or go to the gas stove and light it and sit down and enjoy it, that's what you do. You enjoy. So don't let people take the joy out of it. Some people take it a little too seriously.
Okay.
You know?
So tell them mind your business.
Yeah, mind your business.
Mind your business.
All right, so we done smelled it. We feel like it's rolled pretty good. It's good. So now we got to cut it, right?
Now let's talk about cuts.
Oh,
because
boy.
there are a variety of cuts. Is there any? Let's talk about cutting the cigar.
So the same person that I was talking about with not calling cigars trash also is a stone cold V-cut lover. So we talk about what is a V-cut, right? So a V-cut is you have a cutter that will basically cut a V, like a notch, down into your cigar. All right? You can do a straight cut, which cuts straight across the top. There's a punch cut, like there's a punch on the end of that lighter. It's a little round circle, so it's just going to punch a little hole out of the cap. That's it. So you figure out what cuts you like, but the thing that we don't want to do is that if you look at the cigar, like this one, you'll see a cap on the top, that last little round circle on the top. And then the cigar has shoulders. Like, we have shoulders here.
Right.
It's got shoulders. So you don't really want to cut too far down below your shoulders.
Okay.
All right. So you decide what kind of cut you like. And
Now, do you have a preference on the cuts?
I'm a straight cut type of guy.
Okay, straight guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
straight. I always say friends don't let friends V-cut, but I get into a lot of trouble with that.
I don't even know what that means, but okay, I'm gonna let that slide. I don't know what that means. Okay, so let you cut it. Here you go. Here's a straight cut, sir.
All right. And this one is what they call like the perfect cut. So it's got a back in it so that you supposedly don't stick it in any further than the shoulders.
Oh, that's
and it
what she
cuts
said.
supposedly
Okay,
the
gotcha.
perfect amount off. Nothing is perfect for everybody. So
That part.
so anyway, it'll work. And so if you cut it and you say, hey, look, I don't really like how that is, I want to cut some more, you can reach in and cut it again the second time if you choose to.
Okay.
All right.
Let me get mine.
Oh, you got a V-cut in the light.
Yeah, I do have a V-cut
So we
there.
do have a V-cut.
So you know what? Let me V-cut. So
Okay.
For purposes of the show.
But I thought you was my friend, though,
Hey, man. Don't tell nobody.
I told you friends don't let friends V-cut, so.
But because we're here,
Yeah, all right.
we'll take a quick V-cut.
See, and I'm going to tell you what I don't like about the V-cut, right?
I'd say, yes, yeah, I already know.
I just don't like the way it looks. And then when I'm smoking this cigar, I'm always like feeling like I got to stick my finger in that V. And you don't get much enjoyment out of that stick.
That's
Sticking
personal.
it, I'm just saying, hey. And it's like, now some people will say that the straight cut leaves bits of tobacco on the top. And so that's why they like the V cut. They say it's a lot cleaner. There's a deep V, there's a shallow V. That's a deep V on that one. Sometimes they have them, it's not as deep, but anyway.
All right, listen, folks. Listen, we got these cuts. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
How did you end up in that brawl and that fight anyway? You and Louis Blue and all this mess? You know there was an undercover cop in there.
You see her over there?
All of this is a setup for money. It's all for money.
Hello,
What's your name?
my name's Angelica.
Hey, Mom, the girls are right. Last night, I saw Jack in bed trying to stick his...
Man, I told you to bring me some young, raw, fresh meat. What am I gonna do with this junk? This mess you sent me. I'll pay you good money. Oh man, go, this is kitchen. All this mess that you see right in here right now, I didn't have anything to do with that, all right? So don't be judging. Does that sound?
Who do I want to call it next? Put spots on ice, need the organs.
All right, we're back. We're talking about V cuts, straight cuts. We're doing all kind of
Straight
things.
cut
My
is the
gangster
way.
lean, brother, Leemack 912 in the building, giving us instructions and directions on how to do this thing called smoke the cigar. All right, so I got a V cut.
All
So
right.
I did a V
Straight
cut.
cut.
You did straight cut. All right. So what's our next move, brother?
All right, so
Are we
now-
going to do a cold draw?
Well, we can, but usually with a cold draw, what happens is you suck in on the cigar, you put it in your mouth, see if you're sucking it. But because this is close,
Right.
you might not get too much, but I still do it anyway.
Gotcha.
Ooh, that's got some real mustiness in
Yeah,
there.
it does. Like the basement.
Yeah, just what I'm going to
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
See,
it's like the
so,
basement.
So that's one of my descriptors is like a damp, dusty, dark basement. And the way I get that is my dad he did some plumbing work. So we did a lot of work in the city, over in Newark, Elizabeth, and them damp, dusty,
Yeah, buddy.
musty basements. So I know what that smell is. So that's what
Yes.
that taste is. Now, in cigars, sometimes that's a very good thing. Most of the times, if you get that musty taste, I don't know why, but supposedly that's good tobacco, but I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, it's like grandma's old basement.
Yep.
That nobody went down.
That's it. So we're gonna light it up now. Now with the closed foot, normally if it wasn't closed, we would char the end of it. We would take it and we would light it, keep the lighter out here, and kind of char the end of it.
Okay.
With a closed foot, a lot of times they just light it and smoke it.
Okay.
Right away because you're supposed to be able to get. That's got a little bit of extra wrapper on there, so you want to be able to taste that wrapper. And this wrapper looks like it's a little bit different because it's lighter, so it's a different type than what we have down
Gotcha.
here. So that's also what's interesting about this cigar is that as we start smoking it, when you get past this light part, then we'll see, does it change at all when it gets to the darker wrapper? So
Interesting. Okay, so this is why we got Leemack 912 in the building.
you ready?
I'm ready, brother.
Let's go.
Hope your lighter lights.
Listen, we were just talking about the lighter,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it lit all the time until it was time to go. There we go. You just got to pause on this one a little bit. And I will, when I light mine, I tend to blow on it.
You got a lot of
And-
stuff here.
yeah, man,
Well,
and
no
listen-
wonder you don't do the V cuts because you want to put your finger in the V and then you want to blow the other end.
That's it, man.
I
You
don't,
know,
I don't really
say,
know what's going on with all that. But
don't diddy. They're all good,
I'm not
baby.
judging. There's a lot of stuff going on with this.
Now,
Okay, so yeah, talk to us.
so those first couple of puffs, they might give you a little something. I don't know. You start describing it. But I also just did a retrohale at the same time. So retrohale is when you close your mouth and blow the smoke out your nose. A lot of people don't retrohale. Some people do. I say you get more flavor or a different flavor when you retrohale. People that don't retrohale always say, I can taste the same thing. Okay, that's cool. I'm gonna let you
There's no
taste it.
argument. We're not going to fight with you.
So that's pretty good. So with the retrohale, for me, it's bringing up like a creaminess.
Okay. You got creaminess on there? Okay. Okay.
There is a little bit of a bite, some type
Yes.
of pepper.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm getting a little bite.
It's a bite.
On the
Now,
back end.
I don't know if it's good bite or bad
Yeah.
bite. But if this is Connecticut, so I had a Connecticut earlier today. Sometimes Connecticut can be a little bit bitter.
Yes.
And that could be with that. So we'll see once we get past that whether that goes away.
I was thinking the same thing. I was getting
Yeah.
a little bite that was bitter.
Now,
Exactly
see,
what
mine is burning a little bit faster on one side. I'm a touch-up maniac, so sometimes I'll hit that. I'll hit that right there, and then just But I'm gonna leave it alone for right now. Yours is burning pretty straight.
Yeah, mine ain't doing too bad. I got a little tip hanging. I don't want that falling on my lovely pants, so I'm gonna violate 2266. But don't tell nobody. It's all good. Okay, I'm still getting the. Okay, starting to fade off.
So do you ever have or describe a flavor that you taste that's like leather?
So how I describe things, because that's a whole big fight.
I know.
It's a whole
That's why
big
I
fight.
asked you the question.
Yeah, it's a whole big fight when it comes to the flavors that you and the nuances of flavor that one may feel they have on their cigar. Because folks will say, I ain't never had no leather before. So it's more so like, okay, the smell of the leather in the profile. But there are so many people who tell you that there's no such thing. You guys are talking crazy. Talking about you getting all these different flavors. Y'all just full of shit. It's a cigar, man. But then I asked him, I said, well, it's a cigar. I noticed that you always smoke.
Right.
Why is it that you always go to that particular cigar? There's something about that cigar that you like. Yeah, maybe you just haven't thought long enough or sat there quietly enough to think, am I getting anything in particular from this cigar?
Besides smoke.
Right, besides smoke, because they're good for that. They're just getting
It's like smoke.
Just like smoke. But how come you always go to that particular cigar then, that you go to? So that's always a controversial question when it comes to cigars and flavor profiles and what you may pull from a cigar.
Yeah. See, for me, leather reminds me, and again, you know, like I say, being old, you always have stories and where these things come from, right? So I'll say, like, you know how Candela tastes kind of green, like it's got a little chlorophyll, but it can be kind of bitter and sharp in the pepper too,
Yes.
right? But that's what I take to say like green leaves. So I would say more like green leaves versus fall leaves or whatever. You say, Leemack, how you know what green leaves taste like?
You ate 'em.
Yeah, no, well, I didn't eat them.
It's okay, you
I'm
did.
just
It's okay.
saying.
I ain't judging.
I spent some time in the Boy Scouts, and we spent a lot of time in the woods. And being Boy Scouts with woods and matches, we'd be
Boy
like,
Scout too.
We'd find different leaves and stuff to roll up and smoke.
Oh, okay.
And if you messed around and put too much of a green leaf in there, you go, oh man, wait, we got to get the brown one. So we throw that and roll up something else and smoke that or whatever. So that's the taste that I say for leather. That's kind of what I'm getting there. I never really get a flavor of leather, but this cigar it's got a kind of a long finish too. Finish is how long that flavor lingers on your palate after you blow the smoke out. So, like, what are you getting when you get anything on your finish at this point?
Unfortunately, I got a little bitter bite.
I got that too.
Yeah, I got a little bitter bite on that back end.
Now, where is the bite? Is it like in the front of your mouth, back of your mouth?
I'm gonna say it's in the back.
Yeah,
And I
say
go
the
on
same
the
thing.
back end and the back of my mouth, if that makes any sense.
I would say the same thing. I would say that this cigar is tasting a little bit on the bitter side. The funny thing is, I told you I know what the cigar is. So,
Yes.
and yeah.
You know what I
So
mean?
which hence goes back around to our trash conversation, but I'm just saying.
Well, okay, since we do have a little libations on the table.
Yeah, maybe that'll help it out.
Yeah, so let's try to let's talk about a little bit about that as far as
Okay.
pairing the cigar.
Okay, go ahead. What you want to know about pairing?
Is there any preference? There's no right, there's no wrong. It's all
There
about
isn't.
preference.
There isn't.
So you hear a lot of folks, you know, and I say a lot of folks, I'm going to talk to the folks who are not necessarily cigar smokers. First thing they say, is that a Cuban? Is that a Cuban?
Yeah.
That's the first thing you hear. And the second thing, okay, you want to do a Scotch or bourbon. That's great, that's cool. But again, there is no rule
Right.
when it comes to that. So, going back to what you do as far as cigar reviews, is there anything in particular that you utilize when you're doing your review? Is there things you stay away from, or is it kind of, you know what, when I'm doing my cigar review, I kind of stay in this lane?
It's whatever I feel like. So on my shelf behind me, I've got everything that I might want to drink. All right, except for tequila, because I'm not big on tequila. 'Cause
Okay.
There was this one Super Bowl Sunday in college, and bad memories. Sticks
You
with
too,
me.
huh?
Yeah,
Seem like
yeah,
everybody got a tequila story.
And listen, it was the salt, and oh man, the next morning was
I'm
terrible.
sick.
But a lot of times, what I'll do is I'll decide what I'm going to pair after I start smoking the cigar.
Oh,
So
interesting.
there's two schools of thought. One is you're going to pair up something that's very similar to the cigar. So in this case, I would say we're getting a little bit of bite. It's a little bit of sharpness to it. Kind of reminds me of a rye. Rye has got a
Okay.
little bit more of a sharp
Yes.
bite than bourbon does. This cigar might also pair well with a sweet rum, because again, if I'm trying to get rid of that bite, and get
Contrast.
rid of the pepper, that sweetness or the sugar on your palate, that's another thing that we do is if a cigar is too strong for you, grab yourself a little bit of chocolate or sugar, and it kind of neutralizes the effects of the nicotine.
Okay, look at that.
So, but sometimes that does well. There are a lot of people that don't drink alcoholic beverages, and they like things like Dr. Pepper and Coke or ginger ale or even water. So we have some water here. So I'm gonna have a little water, I think.
Yeah, I mean, what's the matter, bro? What's the problem? I mean, what's the matter, bro? Why you crap? What's the matter, man? What's the matter, bro?
Hey, listen.
What's going on?
I grabbed it. It was sitting under the light, so it was a little warm. So I was like, so I was looking at you like, is this a prop? Is it okay if I drink it?
Absolutely. Shit, look, let me grab. You grabbed it like, whoa, like a hot water balloon.
But when I felt it, I was like, oh, that's a little hot right there.
Making some moves like easy greasy. So
Yeah, but sometimes that, and again, if you got a flavor in your mouth that you don't like, something that's a little.
well, you gotta be careful how you say that, sir.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Well,
Flavor in your mouth that you don't
no
like.
diddy
You know
again,
what I mean?
my
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
Thank
So
you, sir. So something like that will sometimes help clear out your palate as well. There are other good palate cleansers. Some of the old, the masters, they'll say, hey, listen, one guy I met, he said, I usually like bananas. Bananas in between cigars helps clear my palate. Or tomato juice, V8 is another one that they use.
because of the acidic, maybe. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Now, have you ever tried that?
I got V8 in my garage.
I don't like no V8.
Oh, well.
I don't. You drink V8 on the regular?
Low sodium. It's little cans, man. All I need is little cans.
Bro, that's some of the nastiest. Okay.
Come
I
on.
ain't
Yeah,
judging.
you
But
know,
yeah,
that's cool.
that ain't my cup of
You're
tea.
from Philly, that's why. You
Yeah,
know?
that's right. So I'm a cheesesteak guy. Put cheesesteaks in a bottle, we can make it happen. Listen, man, cheers to that, first of all. Cheers, brother.
Cheers, brother. So we have we got a little, what we got here? A little Buffalo Trace.
Little Buffalo.
Little bourbon. So that's got a little bite to it,
Absolutely got a bite.
but it kind of like coats your mouth, right?
It does. It definitely coated my mouth. Got a bite. Little spice.
So
Spicy.
our buddy Francisco have said, you know, have a little sip of your alcohol, then puff your cigar and see if it tastes different.
I think they dropped that kick. The bite from the cigar after taking a sip of the Buffalo.
It's a lot better.
Yes.
It's a lot better. We also moved past that, what I'm going to call Connecticut on the end. But because now we've got such a strong bite from the bourbon, and we've got some alcoholic vapors and fumes in our mouth, it mixes with the smoke.
It's coming together. Like a marriage supposed to be.
Exactly. Yeah, you speak about the marriage. You ever done the marriage? You know the marriage, right?
No.
No? Oh, let me see. I still got some in my glass. So what they do with the marriage is, right, you take your cigar.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Blow it in your glass.
Okay. I didn't know they had an official name for that.
Well, you know, out in St. Louis, they call this the smoking glass, right? So what that also does is it combines the smoke and your drink. It makes it all taste
It's like a
different.
magic trick.
Yeah, it is.
Damn,
It's a party
okay.
trick, yeah?
I want to try that, man, but I might mess it up. I don't think mine's gonna look as good as yours. Then did you get anything in your glass, brother? Don't seem like
What's
your
that?
communion juice was. Your glass wasn't full. It seemed like you only had a little sip.
Oh, no,
You sure?
Oh, yeah. We still
Okay.
there's a whole bottle there, so you
That's
know,
what I'm
we
thinking
can-
because
we can-
the communion needs to be
refill,
put into
you
the
know, if we need
glass.
to. No, that's the other good thing, right? So if you're drinking something, right, and it is alcoholic, and your cigar is not so good, by the time you get to the end, cigars start tasting better sometimes.
Alcohol kind of does that to a lot of things in life.
No, especially some of them V cuts. You know, you'd be like, it makes it look better. The next morning,
You don't say. You don't say.
or the next morning, she might not look as good.
Hey, where does V cut come from?
Hey,
Hey. You know, I want to talk about that real quick. While I got you here. What's going on at the lounges? What's your experience been going on with what's happening in the lounges? I've been having some of the sisters, you know, I had a conversation with Sketches.
Yeah.
He's a rabbit hole chaser.
Yeah.
You love your Sketches, but you chase the rabbit holes. And
Yeah.
You down in the ferry.
we already know.
So the sisters are telling me that there's no brothers out here. And I don't know why they keep telling me. And I'm thinking, maybe it's not just me. Are you getting the same thing? Are the sisters asking you, hey, Leemack, you got any friends? Because we can't seem to find nobody out here in the streets.
it's funny that you say that, right? So I got a good brother. He gonna remain nameless, but him and a couple of his boys say they don't really think the women belong in the lounges.
Oh, wow.
Period.
Damn.
Period.
Whoa, that's a
but
fight.
I think that's because it's different. Women go to the lounges for two different reasons, right? Mm-hmm. You have women that smoke. They smoke. Mm-hmm. I'm there to smoke and enjoy the the camaraderie and all of that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. Then you have the women that are just out there chasing a man. Like you said, you got any friends? Anybody got some money? You got, let me see who I can hook up with. Because remember, smoking cigars is not a cheap hobby. So if you find a guy that's smoking cigars, then you know what? He might be able to have a little money, and that's the kind of dude that I want. So, when you go into the lounge, everybody goes for a different reason. Some people go to say, you see it, we have a guy come in, he sits in the corner, he reads his book, he speaks. He's personable, but he don't really want to be bothered. He don't want to be having no long conversations. He just want to chill, his cigar, his smoke, maybe his drink, and his book.
Yes.
You got other people that go to the lounges that for a social event. They want to be social. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to be in the middle of the conversation. It's almost like the barbershop, right?
Okay.
But every lounge is different.
Very true.
Because you have some lounges that are the turn-up lounge. Every time you go there, it's time for the turn-up. Hey, time for the percolator. It's like...
Let me drink on that. Let me get a sip on that note. I want to start the fight.
It's time for the turn-up, right? So the dude that wants to sit in the corner and chill, watch his movie, read his book, whatever the case is, he ain't there for the turn-up. And then you got the sisters that's there that's trying to, find a dude like that. He ain't there for them either. So that ain't his type of lounge. He wants the old school lounge. But old school lounge didn't really have a whole lot of people that look like us in the old school lounge.
That's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yes, sir.
I'm just saying. So I don't know what's going on with the lounges. You think about what you would do differently if you owned the lounge, right? So when I talk about my people that follow me online, the family, we all different kind of people. I mean, we all different kind of colors, male, female, different religions, from north, south, different countries, whatever. I got a brother in Ireland right now. I got to pack up and send some cigars to Ireland. Good brother, been a supporter of mine for years, right? Any other time you would say, how would y'all get together? We might not. But over the cigar, we do. So that's what the lounge is supposed to be, where you can just go in. It doesn't matter who you are. You can sit down, you can light up your favorite stick, I light up my favorite stick, or vice versa, right? And we just sit down, we might have a conversation about who knows what. That's what I look for in me. Mm-hmm. That's what I look for. Not everybody is looking for that.
Okay, so it goes back to that original premise of some of the young ladies asking me, hey, you have any friends? Now,
but there's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's why I said I'm going to push back a little bit on what you said.
Unless
you talking about they might be looking for somebody with money. Now, these young ladies I know are put together. They have their own job. They got their own money.
So why they can't find them?
Hey, listen,
Hey,
that part, I'm going to bring them here to sit at this table and ask that question. Ladies, what I see on surface appears to be awesome. What is it about the situation, about your lifestyle, whatever it may be, that you have some difficulties finding a man? So I'm gonna let them answer that question. So they'll be at this table to answer that question. But that's why I said I was gonna push back a little bit, because on surface now, Leemack,
they seem like they got it together.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, what's going on there? Nice looking women.
But I've met a lot of wonderful sisters in the lounge. Some of them we are close, and there's some great sisters that are out there in the lounge. But then there's some that's like, you're a little thirsty. You need some water, I think.
Oh wow, take them to church.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Oh wow.
And so again, it's obvious to me. I ain't looking for you, but it's obvious to me when you're very thirsty. So.
Thirsty? What you mean? No,
very obvious.
What you trying to say, brother? That some of these young ladies. Now, I haven't really. I can only speak from my personal opinion. I haven't really ran into. Watch yourself. Careful there. These young ladies that you tell me that's thirsty. The ones I ran into, they're professional. They
Okay.
sit there. Mind your business. I don't like how you said that. I don't like how you said that, bro. I don't like how you said that.
Hey.
These young ladies are professional. It seems like they got the act together. You know, they drive a nice car. They got their own homes. Some got their own business. Like, wow, okay. And I asked Sketches last time I was on the show, like, I don't know why they keep asking me. So, do you get the same thing, right? So
But-
they only me. I
but-
got a happy-go-lucky face, maybe. I'll say,
Yeah, but what is the issue, right? So when it really
know.
come down to it, right? So you ask a woman, this ain't my opinion, but they'll tell you, right? They say we simple creatures, right? It don't take much to satisfy us, right? So why you can't find somebody? The problem sounds like it's you.
oh, wow. You gonna tell them that? Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna tell them that because I ain't out there looking for her. But I'm just saying.
I'm just saying that was a heavy statement.
But the problem sounds like it's you, right? What is it that you looking for that you can't find that you won't? I'll give you an example, right? And this is my daughter. So we were talking about guys one time, and she was like, "Well, I wouldn't date no guy that's standing on the corner waiting for the bus." I said, "Yeah, but he might be waiting on the bus to go to a good job, and you over there, you want the dude that looks like he's got money, but he ain't got two nickels to rub together." Grandma said he ain't got a pot to piss in nor a window to throw it out of. So where are you looking and what are you looking for?
That's the $1 million question.
Because you got, but you know too now, right? So I love a confident woman, right? Somebody that knows who they are. Hey, listen, love me, feel me, love me, or don't. They know who they are. They're confident with themselves, and I love them, right? If you're not confident with yourself, then you're looking for somebody else to complete you.
Leemack, I got to bring him here to the table. Bottom line. I have to bring him here because it's only a question they can answer.
Yeah, the only I can answer.
You know?
Hey, listen, I don't
I
know
can
nothing.
speculate, but they're the only ones who can really answer that question. And so that's going to be a promise.
That's going to be an interesting conversation.
I'm going to bring them here. Sit them at this table, a few of them maybe, 2 or 3 young ladies, and some single brothers. Be a round table conversation about what's going on out here in these streets.
But you probably need, well, I don't know, single brothers. You probably need to get some married brothers in there too, I'm just saying.
Well, you know, we ain't in the market. At least we ain't supposed to be. And I
Yeah,
ain't-
but
I
you
ain't
have,
judging.
you have a different way of looking at things, so.
Well, I'll be there. I'm married, so I'll be
All
there.
right, okay, you
Sketches
represent.
trying to put me out there last time. Telling me, well, you don't know nothing about the streets. Say you do. Say you do. I told him, I said, it's in the Bible.
You
could
crazy,
be
man.
in the world, but not of the world.
Right,
so I could be
right.
in the streets and not of the streets.
Right,
If
right.
that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense, brother. How's your libations looking, brother?
It's very good, very good. How's your cigar?
Oh, man, it's a very good question. I'm still getting a little bite.
Yep.
I'm still getting some bite off of my cigar here. It's on the back end. My V cut, I'm not tempted to put my finger in there. I don't know why you.
Not finger, tongue.
Well, you know, I think it was a combination of
No,
both.
no,
so-
no, no. Well, hey, listen,
Yeah, so at the end of the day.
I'm not finger screwing my damn cigar, but okay.
I know. Man, based on that first early description, I was a little nervous about how you was talking about the V and why you didn't like the V. So I'm thinking like, oh man, what's going on? You got a little something going on
Now-
with the V? How is yours coming on? I mean, you're still getting that bitter,
It's
getting that bite?
So mine is struggling, and this could be me, right? So, shut up. I'm talking to one certain person. Shut up. My cigar appears to be tunneling. So, and it also appears to not want to stay lit. So tunneling is when it kind of burns right down the middle.
Yes.
So the way you want your cigar to burn is so that you get an even burn of outside wrapper, the binder, and the leaves. They all want to burn evenly so you get the flavor that was intended by the blender. You know, so I think I'm struggling with that a little bit.
So your profile, what are you getting out of that? You still getting that bitter?
Still got that bitter. I think a part of that is, well, no, she still seems to be burning.
You know what's
But what
interesting?
else, though?
I'm gonna tell you what's interesting about this particular cigar. There's a lot of rave about this cigar right now.
And I have said that it was,
Watch yourself, church.
I've said it, and people talk about it, and they love it. And I said, well, there's only one cigar that this company makes that I like. And this ain't it.
Right.
This ain't it. Because other than the bitter, tobacco, even right now on the retrohale is maybe tobacco, maybe a little bit of nut. There ain't much flavor to it.
No, it's like green, like if that makes any
green
sense.
leaves.
Ah, green leaves.
Yeah. So what I say with that is, right, so like I said, I honestly this morning had a long conversation about what makes a cigar trash versus a cigar that's not trash, right? And you shouldn't call any of them trash, is what I was told. I was reprimanded, and my hand was slapped. But there are some things. So I have to go back to my brother Francisco, right? Who I love, Francisco. I've seen Francisco in the Dominican Republic from the Dominican big leaguer, and Francisco will tell you he'll get a container load of Mexican San Andreas, right?
Okay.
When it comes off of the container, it comes in those boxes or whatever. He builds a pilon. The pilon is a big pile of tobacco, stacks it up in a big square.
Okay.
Right? And then what happens is the tobacco heats up, they have water in between it or whatever, and it starts fermenting again. And when you ferment tobacco, it expels like I'm calling it the off gases, the ammonia,
Yes.
the things that don't really taste good in tobacco is there. So that's what he does with all the tobacco that he buys from somebody else, right? Even though they might have said, we already fermented it, but he does it again. And then you say, from Francisco, when is it ready? He says, I don't know when it's ready. I don't know when it's going to be ready. He called me McLean. McLean, I don't know. The tobacco will let you know when it's ready. This cigar seems like it was put together with a recipe.
Interesting.
We put it, we're gonna ferment it for however long, and then we're just gonna make it. And nobody pays attention to, is the tobacco ready to be rolled into the cigar? This tobacco tastes like it's under fermented to me. Like it also tastes like it's not. So when you cut the primings, you cut it from the bottom. First priming, usually they call it the sand priming. That's the stuff that's down in the leaves. They cut it, let it go back into the dirt for fertilizer. Then they go up, Viso, Seco, Ligero. And so it's boom, boom, boom. So they cut the second one off of all the fields. Then they go to cut the third one,
Right.
the top one. And sometimes there's Medio Tiempo, which is the little Corona leaves at the top. But the more it stays on the plant, the more flavor it gets, the more sun it gets, the more nicotine it gets. And then you have to ferment it. And so then when you ferment it long enough and well enough, then you get those flavors that we're looking for. So when you were talking about earlier, people telling you, yeah, y'all are all full of it. No, there are some tobaccos that you're like, oh man, and the flavors are fleeting. It's not like a flavored cigar. You might taste coffee. You might taste black pepper. You might taste cinnamon. You might taste hot pepper. You might taste cream and caramel. Every once in a while, I'll get a hot buttered popcorn that pops in there. But that was great. Let me get it. Next puff is gone.
Gotcha.
So
Now listen, we're running out of time.
go,
brother.
sir. Yes, sir.
So listen, how can we support you, brother? Where are you at on social media?
So social media, you can always find me, Leemack 9112. I'm saying like you. He the only one calls me 9112 or 912. Leemack 912, Leemack 912. You can find me everywhere. Just Google me. I am on YouTube sometimes, Rumble. I have a Patreon channel, Instagram, TikTok, X, Threads. I'm all over the place, brother.
Well, brother, I'm going to say thank you. I appreciate you being who you are, being the mentor. I wanted to give you flowers. So I will say thank you, brother.
I appreciate you,
Thank you.
brother.
Love you.
Appreciate the invite.
Appreciate
Love
you,
too,
man.
bro.
Thank you. Well, folks, there you have it. That episode is in the books. We will check y'all out on the next one. Peace out.